Let's go.
Rivers to the trailhead there at the Russian River campground. We had gotten pretty much all the way back to the trailhead when all of a sudden my dog Maya lets out a little growl. I look up and sure enough, like 30 feet in front of us on the trail, there's a large brown bear. And it had lots.
Now I want y'all to fully understand. There was a dog there. The dog name was Maya. The dog is man's best friend.
The bear encounters, that first moment, it was clear this bear was an agitated bear. She was stomping her feet, hair raised on end, huffing and puffing, and we decided the best thing to do was to back up slowly and to head further upriver. We were able to...
So yeah, him and his man, they was going fishing. They walking on the trail. Bear pop out, huffing and puffing like, hey yo, what y'all doing here, B? This ain't the time. Him and his man like, alright, you right, bear. We gonna peel this way.
To sort of back off without further incident, and it was a big relief. That was a pretty intense encounter. We started to process that. We started to talk about it like, that was crazy. All of a sudden in front of us, we see the alders on the trail shaking. Immediately, my heart just sinks to my toes, because when you get followed by a bear, like stalking behavior or cut off by bears, that's generally a pretty bad situation you don't want to be in.
Now he like, hey yo, to his man, yo, what he thinking in his mind? Yo, homie, don't want to let this go. We might be in trouble.
Turned around and started heading quickly back towards the trailhead. In about 10 or so steps, the totally unimaginable happened, and that is that with the shaking bushes now behind us, directly in front of us, the bear comes ripping around the corner wildly at super high speeds, and in just a flash was upon us. My friend John jumped off the trail to the right. Now at this point, there's nothing left between the shaking bushes behind me and the bear except for me. What we didn't know at the time, in the
now y'all see
shaking bushes behind
his
me
head,
were
right?
cubs. We had unknowingly put ourselves into the worst possible situation. Here she is.
So the cubs was there. So you get the shaking of the bushes, the cubs. Then they try to pick, they was just in the wrong area.
Is charging at missile speed, and time pretty much goes to like a near standstill.
Look at his head. Look at this shit. Y'all need me to blow this up so y'all can see it for real? Look. Yeah, wrong place, wrong time.
Having this thought of like, okay, I'm trained not to react, like stand my ground. Bears do bluff charges and all this. But there's this voice saying, this is real. This is really happening. You need to do something. This is real. This is really happening. You need to do something. Her head just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'll never forget her eyes kind of burning yellow with fury and her mouth agape. So I took a few running steps and launched off into the bushes on the side of the trail, away from the cubs. And before I'd even hit the ground, you know, she had a hold of my legs and was pulling me out of the bushes. I just remember hearing this.
What's going through your mental? You know the bear's attacking. You've been trained, right? That means you know the bear can catch you once you start running, but the panic set in. Like, oh nah, this bear ain't playing. It's gonna get me. You take off, hit a few steps. You using your human brain. You like, okay, then I'm gonna hit the banister. I'm gonna hit the jump off the banister to the side into the bushes. Soon as he got in there, the motherfucking bear had his leg. Y'all heard him, right? Bear not playing. The bear want blood.
Pitiful screaming sound that sounded like the sound of a dying animal, and I just remember having the realization, holy shit, that's me making that sound. I just remember.
Now, when I heard him say that part, that's the part that got me, right? I talk to people all the time about being traumatized and going through real scenarios, right? How certain shit changes you. He said, yo, I heard like something like screaming, like squealing, like something yelling, like something in pain, like, and I realized it was me. You know how much terror, you know how much trauma you going through for you to be screaming like a wounded animal, which at this point you are, and then come to the realization like that's me.
Feeling the ground moving by underneath me really quickly, grass and roots and rocks. The next thing I know, there was kind of like a crunching sound, which was probably my skull, and I lost consciousness.
The next thing I know, it was a crunching sound, which was probably my skull, and then I lost consciousness. Yo, the last thing in the world you want to hear is your own skull cracking. You know how dudes in the hood be saying, crack this melon? Let's go.
I woke up 3 or 4 times during the mauling. Each time I woke up, I was just very aware of the presence of the bear, this sense of horror and terror. At one point in time, I woke up and was aware that the mauling wasn't actually happening. And I heard my friend John calling my name from a distance. I called back to him. And unfortunately, the bear, who must have been nearby, me calling out was too much sign of life. And so the bear returned and the mauling continued.
What I tell you, are you still talking?
Flip me over. So I was now face up, and the bear was standing over me with either front paw digging into either shoulder. Her head was directly over mine, and that's when she kind of cocked her head sideways and bit down across my face from side to side. And then chewed.
Yo, bro.
Oh, you've never used samples like this before. This is our...
There was no shape or form or anything. I couldn't see anything. It was just this brilliant, bright blue light. It was like peaceful, almost and blissful. It was like really different than what my reality was in that moment. In my current training in mental health, that's pretty classic dissociation. I was at a crossroad.
Dissociation, we know that's a real thing. Some people don't get attacked by bears. Like, you can be a kid and somebody is doing something heinous or really wrong to you. Where like you in so much like maybe physical or mental turmoil or both, that you gotta disassociate. Hey, I'm not even me no more. I'm another person. I'm Ronald. I'm Ron Diggity Dog.
Basically, I had to decide whether or not I was going to fight for life or not. Letting go of life, just making that decision, like this could all be over. It was that easy. For whatever reason, I saw this image of my mom, and she was there waving to me and smiling, just as happy as I've ever seen her.
Obviously, we put people on YouTube, oh, why you pause it, cuz? Yeah, we reacted to it. But it's something deeper. Heard what he said. I'm at the, he, like, I'm at the crossroads of like, yo, I'm going to fight to live or I'm going to give up. Most people ain't been attacked by, and it's not just the attack by the bear, right? Spoiler alert, he's blind. Last night I got something caught in my eye, like in the corner, like it was an eyelash or something. And man, I was rubbing that shit. I was so frustrated. And I thought to myself, like, oh, I'm blind. His face is forever disfigured. A lot of people being utter in extreme turmoil because they feel like they was born not to the liking of what society beauty is, and lose their mind and make bad decisions and become a horrible person because you ain't feel like you was pretty. You ain't disfigured. You your normal, natural self. And you acting worse than him.
And kind of glowing. And I don't know, you know, something about that mother-child love, that primordial relationship. I don't know what it was, but that feeling is probably maybe one of the only feelings.
Now what's crazy is,
by.
You see how he said that? I don't have that feeling. Like, I want that feeling so bad with my moms. But like, if I was him in that moment, I would think about how since I'm really handicapped, I'm gonna get taken advantage of somehow. I'm gonna get abused. Like, I'm gonna get misused. Like, I'm gonna get treated bad because I'm disfigured and blinded and whatever else might happen. So kudos to him for having that kind of relationship. Because, man, I don't know if I'd have made a different decision at that point. Shit, I know I used to be handsome, but my looks can't get me by no more. Shit, man. All I ever wanted to be since I was younger was a homosexual. Hold on, let me hit my what's wrong with you.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Fighting for him.
You niggas are crazy.
And so I knew right away that I was gonna fight for life. I don't know if I can survive, but if I do, like, I have no idea what kind of shape I'm gonna be in, what kind of challenges there will be, or pain to endure. I realized right then and there the worst possible outcome would be the possibility that I would look back at some point in my future and regret that choice to live.
That was deep to me too. Him thinking like, yo, is life gonna be so fucked up? Am I gonna be so fucked up that I'm gonna look back and regret my choice to live? And spoiler alert, he goes on to say that he promised himself he wouldn't do that. I ain't get attacked by a bear, but I've been through some things and bounce backs, and one of the worst things is looking back on shit and wishing that you ain't come through it. But that's still a mindset. Just like people who've been through all different arrays of things can be extremely unhappy, there are people who've been through a lot of things that could just be happy. Two people who got the same kind of life, and one person is just happier and more appreciative than the other. Sometimes I feel like, yo, a lot of the things that I regret, or a lot of the things that I think about regretting, if I was to start regretting those things, it'd just make me unhappier. You think of particular moments and particular times, right? like say it's with a friend or whatever, or you was in a relationship and y'all might have a little smoke, but if those moments where you might have made a sacrifice or whatever, right? Or she made a sacrifice, or he or whoever, whatever the situation is, like you can't forget how good that shit made you feel in a moment, because that's a real feeling. Nothing could take that away. Nothing shouldn't be able to change that. That's all on you. That's in your mind. So I always, like that's why I say we cover a lot of things over here, man. If you're watching on YouTube, you gotta make sure you sub, comment, like, do all that shit. Shout out to the people on YouTube that been supporting too, man. We been getting our subscribers. We had a comment today I seen. Could always read it for y'all, right? We used to do that. When I get the crazy comments, I make videos where I'll be responding to the comments and shit, talking shit. But and I didn't even look and see which video the comment was on, but the person was like, I love your take, you being honest, you come right out, and I responded with something like, I forgot, I responded with, you already been kicked out all the major groups, the popular groups, so I might as well just, cause some shit like that I responded with. But shout out to y'all on YouTube. We try to cover different things to give you a different perspective, because sometimes I be feeling like this is part of what helped me escape from where I was at. Like, okay, life is big. It's a lot of shit going on. Like, you could cry and pout about particular things, but like I'm hearing his story, right? Like, he know probably when he was going through that I was going to hear his story, that it might matter to me, that you might watch this on YouTube, see this, and then be like, oh, shit, and make you want more motivated and like, whatever, right? But, that's actually what life is about. That's what you're supposed to live for. Like, that is legacy, right? Like, none of us are the biological children of Julius Caesar. Well, but actually, none of us are the biological children right now with Julius Caesar. So I know Martin Luther King got kids, like y'all like him, Malcolm X, whatever, right? Like, whoever you name, right? But their legacy was bigger than, like, their legacy was so big that, man, we know who people is from 1,000 years ago. Because they strive to do whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it be people that come from all walks of life, all genres, male and female. So when you get it in your mind, like, you ain't got the will to live for any reason, if you got a shot, if you got a TC shot at bouncing back and doing something different, why not do that shit?